Hi Dorian, how's it going? It's been a while since I sent you a video, and I wanted to ask you a couple of questions about our current design. And there's, sorry, it's been the worst week of my life. I felt like I was going to die at certain times. Anyway, let me share the original model with you. Um, So this is the original model, and I put it on the new trailer. You can see, and I've been kind of messing with it, trying to figure out windows and things like that. Then I realized that I need to get more specific information on the types of windows we want to use because the size is really dictated on the manufacturer. So if you happen to have like a manufacturer in mind that you know of, let me know. Otherwise, I'll. I was gonna look at Milgard windows because I've used them a lot in houses. But then there's some tiny house manufacturers that recommended some other windows. So I was gonna look at those too. Because I'm not sure what size we can get for these egress windows. I think they have to be a certain, like 2'5" wide in order to be egress. So there's like way too many. Ignore how many windows there are in this. Anyway, so what I wanted to ask you is we had originally designed this whole step up in the living room area where it was like 9 inches or one step, 10 inches. And then we were going to put some access panels in the floor to be able to access underneath here. And this was all kind of dictated, that height, 10 inches, was dictated on where I thought we could put the door above the wheel well. But now you can see that the door is halfway over the wheel well with this trailer option. And this is the Iron Eagle 26-foot trailer. And which seemed okay when I was just like this. You have to understand this model is a really sketchy model. I was just trying to figure out like the general design, like I would, pull apart the roof and shit right here, trying to figure out how that works. But then when I started working on a little more technical model, the framing model, I noticed an issue, and let me show you with this one. So here's the framing model that I'm working on. This is a pretty vital step in the tiny house process, it seems like, so you can get an idea of how it's actually going to go together. And it allows you to kind of find out what the issues are going to be before you actually build it. And one of the things that I noticed is that when am I actually sharing this with you? I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So when you frame over the wheel well, you're basically creating a beam, a 2x6 beam that spans from one side of the wheel well to the other because you can't strap it to the actual wheel well. It's not a structural portion of the trailer. And so when you do that, and there happens to be a door over it, and our door is halfway over the wheel well and halfway over the regular trailer frame, the most logical thing to do is to pull that beam all the way to the end of the door so you're supporting that door with the same beam. But what that does is it pushes the door up 6 inches more than I had anticipated. And the floor is actually 3.5 inches lower than I had originally designed. And that's because the floor for your tiny house in this specific trailer is inset inside the actual trailer frame. And it's a really awesome benefit to getting this type of trailer, which is why so many people, I think, do it. But what that does is it pushes the floor down. And so now what we're left with is from the top of the door to the finish. I mean, this is the rough floor, not the finished floor. It'll be a half an inch higher, but it's 1 foot 2 1/4. So you're 14 inches below the door, which is typically 2 steps. And I know we had originally designed to make a whole platform here, and I wanted to know if you still think that's a good idea, even if it's 14 inches. It's a pretty significant amount of space under there that when the couch is in this location, it's going to limit the amount of access you'll actually have. This just as an example, if we do build up the floor, I want to show you, if we build up the floor, we'll have to buy these beams that are like 14 inches thick, which can be expensive. But so we would basically need some beams like this that frame out this extra like 14 inches of floor. And in this other model, we had designed it to come all the way to the other side of the door, which is over here. So let me just show you. If we pull these across, and you go to here, this is a really rough example. I'm just wanting you to see what would happen. So then we have this whole floor, and you can see how much space is underneath. So this is kind of what we would end up with. We would end up with this, these areas between the joists, and we can put an access panel in each one of these, or you can have one access panel that spans 2 of them. But if the sofa is going to cover up, the majority of that area, you're not going to be able to access it once your sofa's in there. And you're not going to have enough room to really move your sofa around to be able to get to it. Now, I know you keep talking about wanting to put little hatches in the side. We can do that. I don't know how to, but we can figure it out. So that's one option, right? That's what we had been talking about. It's just a lot taller than I had originally anticipated. It's 14 inches. So you would need like another step down, where I was just thinking this would be 1 step. It's actually 2 steps down. So let me know if you want to do that still. If you don't, then we could kind of do this idea where you just put 2 steps down right in the door, and your sofa would still fit back here. Your sofa, we originally had the L shape coming out to the actual like edge of the door right here. So we could actually custom build it if you wanted like to come out on this side to make it work a little bit better. But let me know if you still want to do that raised platform inside, or if you think that maybe this 2-step down idea would be better. It just, you know, looking at the framing, I was kind of trying to figure it out. It just is so much deeper than I originally had anticipated. So I wanted to see what you think of that. The other option still is we could move the door just to the left of the wheel well if you're not liking how tall this is. It also, because the door is so tall, it pushes all of these windows up above the door, and which is still okay. It just makes it a little bit funny on the inside if you have these windows tall and these are lower, but maybe that's okay. So just let me know what you think. I wanted to tell you that I wanted to kind of show you that I'm actually working on it. I'm not a total slacker, but with the wedding coming up, I've been doing a lot of planning for that and then for work. So let me know what you want before my trip to Michigan. And I'm only going to be gone 1 week this time. Our second week got canceled, so it's not a big deal. But you know, this whole design is kind of should be back and forth between both of us, between the 2D drawings. Oh, let me show you between 2D and 3D. So I actually have, see, these are the, can you see now? These are the drawings I sent you, and I put them in the model so I could actually kind of use the drawings to build the 3D model framing. And that's kind of how I like to work in a way, is pull the 2D drawings into 3D and then see what evolves from there. As you can see, like even in my drawing, I hadn't taken into account the wheel well, so that's kind of why I do the 3D. Anyway, so working on it, and let me show you the plan in here too. Oh, you can't really see the plan. It's hidden. Here's what the plan looks like inside the framing. So if we have the 2 steps down here, see your sofa is coming out to here, and this is probably a custom built sofa or something too, so I mean, it actually fits pretty nicely even with the step down. But it, you know, it's up to you. So, yeah. Let me know what you think about having the platform versus the step. All right, and if anything else sparks your imagination and you want to try, or if you have a preference on like the height of the windows or the number of the windows, let me know. I like more windows, but they're, you know, the more we put in, the more expensive they are, and so it's up to you. Okay, let me know what you think. See ya.